Okay, so this is the last class for July, the July group. If this is your first class and you wanted to join, that's okay as well. We're just going over today. We're just completing any risk management questions that we have from last session. And then we're going to go into our trading plans, which should be fairly quick. It shouldn't be that deep, but also towards the end of that, if you guys want to go over anything else you've learned that you still have questions on or that you can't quite grasp, I'll be happy to go over that with you as well. Disclaimer, I am not a supply and demand trader. So if you learned any supply and demand from Mario, I will answer it to the best of my ability. But he is the best person for that. We also have a new instructor here by the name of Josh, or you may see his name as I am. He's really good as well, and he also will teach supply and demand. So those are the two people I would recommend for that. But again, I have a slight understanding of it. So if you have any questions on that, I'll try to answer it to the best of my ability. If I can't, I'll just refer you to them. So let's go ahead and get into trading plans and formulating trading plans, and then we'll dive into any remaining questions about risk management from there. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Alrighty. And then if you guys can let me know if you can see. My chat. I don't see my chat here. Okay, there we go. Okay, cool. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So trading plans. So I know like we've mentioned it a few times in chat, especially when we give advice on psychology and sticking with, what you've been taught and profitability. People always say, make sure you stick with your trading plan. Make sure you stick with your trading plan. But we haven't really delved into what a trading plan encompasses. And some of you may already know some of that, but I'm just going to show mine, for example, what you need and different components of it. So to start off with, your trading plan is not going to stay the same as you grow as a trader over the years. Mine's definitely have been through like 5 different drafts of a trading plan. I change it every time I find something that works better for me. Maybe it's the time of day that I trade or the type of trades that I like to take. Like I used to scalp when I first started trading. I don't like to scalp now. So now my trading plan revolves around an intraday trader. Getting into swing trading more, so that may change my trading plan as well as I delve more into swing trading. I'm also dealing with learning how to do options. My trading plan may change to fit an options trader as well as the other 2 markets that I trade. So it will be a live work. It will change as you grow. So for me, in my opinion, the main 3 components you need of a trading plan is the first part will be your risk management rules. So that could include when you trade, how much you risk. Oh, sorry, I got some more people in here trying to get in. When you trade, how much you risk, what type of pairs you're going to trade, your weekly profit goal, your stop loss goals, any of that can go into the risk management portion of your trading plan. And then the next component of your trading plan, which is extremely important, is what are you going to do before you take a trade? What needs to be in place before you hit that trigger button? And those, I think that's the most pivotal part, because that's the part that's going to keep you centered and on track. Now, it is just a trading plan, so we're not going to sit here and say it's 100% foolproof, going to keep you in line, but it is something to keep around you to recenter yourself just in case you go off track or one of your vices as a human, because we all have them, takes you off track. So my risk management here. So for me, my risk management rules are check for high impact news. And then I put the 2 websites that I like to use for checking for news, which is MyFX Book and investing.com. I do sometimes go to Forex Factory. I'm just not accustomed to using it so much, but Forex Factory is good as well. My second rule is never enter a position without completing a markup or analysis on the instrument first. So before I enter a trade, I need to know what do I have a daily bias? What position, like, am I getting in? Is it a counter trend trade? Is it a continuation trade? I need to know what exactly am I going to, like, what I need a plan. I can't go into my trade blind. The next, I have my weekly profit goal. Minimum is 5%. Now, I don't know if y'all seen my trades, but I typically go over that, but I want to make a minimum 5% of my account. The minimum risk to reward, I think a lot of people have heard me say 1 to 3 a lot. I want a minimum of 1 to 3. I think that minimum is enough to keep your account continuously growing, even if you hit some losing trades. So the next one is to risk up to 1% of the account that I'm trading. So if it's $25,000, I'm only going to risk 1% of that on a trade. And then I'm not going to enter new positions on that account until my first position or previous positions are into profit. And that's extremely important if you're going to be a Forex trader, because you do have an account with margin. And when you have positions in profit, that increases your margin, which gives you breathing room for more trade entries. Do not trade correlating pairs. That is something I learned down the line, like years later. And I probably didn't know that was probably, eating into my profits, or like I would enter 2 trades that were maybe like positively correlated. So when one went up, the other one went up. But if one started losing and coming back down into drawdown, then the other one was too. So not to say you can't do that, but you just want to keep that in mind, that it doubles your risk. So if your plan is to trade 1% risk, but you enter a correlating positive or negative correlating pair, that's going to double your risk on your account. And then if I miss the last entry, wait for a new entry. That should actually be bolded, because that was one of my vices. Like, I would chase my trades, or I would have FOMO, or I would revenge trade. I was very bad at that. So that is something that has always stayed on my trading plan. And I have to remember there's always going to be another opportunity to enter the market, whether that be on another position or another instrument, or on the same trade. And I think we saw that last night in London, where we had NAS 100, or in Q, if you trade futures, it dropped heavily. It started dropping in London, but I missed that entry. I didn't get the first entry, but I got the second one in New York. So that's my risk management rules. Now for my rules before entry, pretty simple. They stick with what we typically teach here. It must be a continuation trade. Now, I do take counter trend trades that are more experienced, but I prefer continuation trades because they make you the most money. It must have a change of character to coincide within the 4-hour trend. So that's basically what Jigga goes over. So your macro time frame would be the 4-hour. Then you go down to your micro time frame, and that would be the opposite trend at the moment until you get a change of character, which would give you the continuation trade. Has to reject off of a fair value gap or order block. Sometimes for me, it doesn't reject yet because I enter right off of it. But before, it had to reject for me to feel like it was a more conservative entry, but now I'm more aggressive with it. And then price has retraced to OTE zone on the Fibonacci. We have not taught Fibonacci yet, but if y'all do want a class on that, I can go over that and what OTE is. But just know that the way that we teach, most likely, if you're entering the way we teach you to enter the market, you're entering on the OTE zone automatically. Most times it's going to be in that area. And then, of course, minimum 1 to 3 trade at a previous high on the 4-hour. So I want the 1 to 3 mark, or minimum 1 to 3 mark, to go to the next high if I'm entering for a buy. So the high on the 4-hour. And then, of course, the sell is vice versa. So any questions on anything that I have on my trading plan, or anything that you're thinking about adding to yours, but you're not quite sure if it fits, like any questions on that? Says yes on the fib class. Okay, I'll definitely set up a class for fibs, and probably some other advanced techniques as well. I add it all into one. Yes, I will put a copy of this in chat, absolutely. And yes, it can be a PDF. I'll upload it as an image, and then I'll make it a downloadable PDF link as well. So that's pretty much the gist. I knew this part would be quick. So yes, you just want these 3 components in your trading plan. It could be whatever you want it to be. It don't have to be exactly like mine, but if you want it to be exactly like mine, that's perfectly fine as well, because it coincides with our classes here and the method that we trade. So if you want it to be exactly like this, that is okay. Again, you're probably going to alter it as you grow as a trader anyway. So you can definitely use this as a foundation. Excuse me, my mouth is getting dry, y'all. All right, so that is the trading plan, and that is actually going to be you guys' homework. I want you guys to come up with a trading plan of yours. You can decorate it. I don't care what you do. You can put it on a notepad on your phone. It can be as basic as ever. It could be on Word document. You can do it on OneNote, whatever, however you want to formulate it, something that is personal to you. And then I just want you guys to post that and add me at it. So I have no doubt that y'all's trading plan is going to be great. So anything else regarding trading plans, or did y'all want to go ahead and dive into other questions that
Still working on these?
Uh-huh.
Still working on the cauliflower though?
I'm sorry, say that one more time. Jay, did you have a question?
No, I thought I was on mute.
Oh, okay. All right. So is there anything else you guys want to dive into tonight? Anything over the past 3 weeks that you have seen that you have questions on? Y'all are really good at asking them in the chat as they come to you, but if you need to see like the chart, me do anything on the chart, this will be the perfect time. Yay, no, nothing.
Oh, so with your fair value gaps, because I know like in the live yesterday, it was different colors candlesticks, but you only use the same color candlestick.
Yes, that is correct. They have to be the same color. I don't know why Jigga said different colors. I think he said that on accident. I'm not gonna cap, but they do need to be the same color. If we're talking about the 3 series where the gap is created, especially if it's breaking structure, I would prefer all 3 of those candles to be the same color. That just helps like it's like a filter almost, like for the good pushes in the market, because not all pushes are going to be energetic, and then if they're all the same color, that's just another hint that the push was very strong. If it's one of them's a different color, that kind of leads me to believe that it may be a little indecisive at that area, and it's probably not a good break of structure or change of character. Go over my analysis on EJ. Yeah. Let's see here.
On your entry off of fair value that you try it go at the top or the bottom of the fair value that, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like if it's wide.
Sorry, Joe, you're going in and out.
You have to go over it twice.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you, but it's like when you start talking, like get kind of low.
No, it does.
Okay, let me type it.
Okay, so EJ. Okay, I don't think I start on the 4-hour on this. I think I start on the hourly. But if I'm going to start from the 4-hour, so just looking at it, we had this up move, generally this up move here, and then we had this big push down here, and then of course it's retraced back up, and it's still playing around this area. Let me try to get my tools out. Okay, still playing around this area here. So I feel like it's gonna drop, because I don't know why I would do this drop, which is kind of, I guess you can consider this a change of character. But it just doesn't look like it wants to push higher. Now you never know, but my analysis is that it wants to push down. So it's just playing around this zone. And then my real work started on the 1-hour. Okay. So we have this right here. Okay, so it broke this low here. Okay, and then what we left behind is this order block here, sitting here. Price had already tapped into this on the 15-minute. When I go down, you'll see, but it had tapped into this 1 hour order block and it left behind a 15-minute order block within there. So this is the method where you wait for a change of character within a higher time frame order block. Do you enter off the top or the bottom of? Yes, I do. So you can see that here, like the entry on this short position markup right here is right on the bottom of this OB. So then I went down to the 15-minute. And then I was like, oh, when I looked at my 1 hour order block, I saw that price had already kind of tapped into it and then came back out. So, and then it left behind a miniature order block, a 15-minute one within the 1 hour. So what I'm anticipating is for price to come into this 15-minute, mitigate this one or respect it, and then come back down for at least to this 1 hour low here, which would give us a almost 1-to-7 trade. So it was a pretty quick analysis, but that's what I'm anticipating on that. Did that analysis make sense? Are you expecting it to push past your FVG? I don't never expect it to push past it. It definitely could. I've been taken out before, but I never expect it. Like when I enter off the bottom of it, I always expect it to just wick right on into it and then reject right out. Or is that what you don't want to happen? Yeah, I'm always looking for a reversal. It does. If it pushes past my OB, which would take me out at this stop loss here, then yes, this is now invalidated. And I have to divorce my analysis after that because now it's like telling me it wants to push higher. So then I might not delete this order block. I may use it as what's called a breaker block. So if it does push past it, let me delete this. If price comes up and push past it, this order block is now what's called a breaker block. And then you can just use it as a supply zone. I mean, excuse me, a demand zone for a buy. So you want us to come back down to it and then continue up. I mean, it was only 10 minutes of work, Jay. I'm really fast at marking up. So it's nothing now. But yeah, I feel you. So yes, if it doesn't validate my order block, you can still leave your order block charted because it may be a source of supply or demand later. I think that's the only time, Xavier, that I use supply and demand is when I'm using breaker blocks. Have I explained sell stops? I think I DM'd somebody the explanation, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think I DM'd it. I didn't put it in the open chat, but I can definitely explain that now. Let's see. Is this all I use for my trades? No. I do have other methods that I do utilize for trading. I can include this in another class along with Fibonacci, like so my other things that I may, and like if you've ever seen me live trade, I put a whole bunch of stuff on the chart that is just more than this. It's just me trying to find more confluence for my analysis. So this is not all I'll probably stop at, but this is like the meat and potatoes. This is the bread and butter for me. So okay, so buy stop, sell stop. So let's see. I'll start with because there's limits and there are stops. So this right here would be a limit. This would be considered a sell limit. So sell limits and buy limits are my next live trade. I may do it tonight. I think I've had a little bit of rest since vacation, so I can probably live trade tonight. I did put out a call out. I'm trying to put out more call outs so that I don't have to live trade as much. But if you guys want to see me live trade more, I'll definitely hop on tonight. So sell limits and buy limits. Okay, I got you. So this is a limit because what we're waiting for is prices going, we want to sell, right? But price is currently pushing up. So we want it to hit a ceiling, which would be the limit, and then we want it to drop. Same thing with the buy. Say we want to buy right up to here, and we wanted our entry down here. This will be the floor, so that's a limit. So we wanted to push up from there. So this will be a buy limit, and this will be a sell limit. Does that make sense, guys? So if you're putting in a sell limit order, you will put in the price that you anticipate, you will put in the price level that you expect price to push down from. And if you're doing a buy limit order, you want to put in the price that you expect price to come down to and buy from or push up from. Yes, stops are basically, the best way I remember stops when I first learned them is think about yourself like traveling on the road and you have to make a stop for gas. So if you're buying and you need a buy stop, you're already on the road up and you need to stop somewhere for a gas. So you would just say you wanted to enter, you saw prices pushing up, you're like, dang, like I want to get in somewhere, just pick somewhere random, we'll say right here. I want to buy right here. This would be a buy stop because price is already on its way up and you just wanted to stop for gas where if you wanted to stop for gas set to continue up. Same thing for a sell stop. Like it's already selling off and you want to get in on that sell or that bearish run. So you just needed to stop for gas wherever you wanted to stop at and for you to get in the car and keep pushing down. Does that make sense? That's the only way I could, they were confusing to me at first. So I had to remember it like elementary style. Do I use stops? When I trade Forex, I do not use stops. I'm always using limits. Now, when I trade futures, stops and limits are utilized a lot because when you enter futures, you trade contracts and stops are actually your stop loss and limits are your take profits. So they're utilized differently in futures because you don't trade off of lot sizes, you trade off of contracts. Okay, any other questions? These are good questions, guys. No problem. Anything else? Of the trading plan? Okay. Let's see. Let me pull that back up. Okay, so let's see like examples of each portion of it. We'll say like the risk management rules. You can add something like, I got you on the fibs. We can say, so risk, I have risk up to 1%. You could probably do, once I lose 3% in a day, I'm done. Like you put yourself at a cap off, like once I lose 3 trades, I'm done. That's another thing you can put under your risk management rules. You can also do, let's see. You can also put something like check the DXY prior to my chart markups to get a good idea of how strong or weak the dollar is, because that will give you a great outlook on major pairs. That'll actually cut a lot of time in half for you. That's some good examples of risk management. You can do before I buy, let's say I have continuation trade, chalk. You can do, I'm trying to figure out what else because I haven't traded other ways. I know some people trade pattern breakout, stuff like that. I don't trade like that, so I don't know what to really put for that. But well, I lie. I do head and shoulders. If I see a head and shoulders, I will hop on a head and shoulders. Let's see, before you buy or sell, you could do make sure I've calculated my lot size for my account size. You can do all kinds of stuff, guys. You just get creative. What works for you? I don't know if those are some great examples. Oh, like how I did on like my markup, like chart markup. Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you meant my trading plan. No, I don't use a set lot size. I still use a calculator from time to time, especially on minor pairs, because I don't know how to calculate those by heart. When I was trading Nas last night, the prices on TradingView were different than on yeah, that will happen. So if I send out a chart that I think this should be a Wanda. Yes. So when I mark up a chart, all my pairs are set to the broker or Wanda. But because there's like a plethora of brokers, you will get different price points than what's on my chart. And that's why I send out the chart with the call out, because I want you to get an idea of the area. So prices might be off by a few pips, but the area or market structure will still be the same. So if I put like my stop loss over a particular high, you just want to make sure that that high matches the same area that I have it in. And your price may be off, but it'll still kick you in at the same price that I get kicked in on, or the same level. So yeah, that is definitely, I'm glad you brought that up. That is something that is very important, definitely. So if you are not using Owanda, which you're probably not, and you're checking my call out, just make sure you mark the same area, the general area. So mark the same high and lows that I have put on my chart, and you should be good. Oh shoot, thank you. It was a few people too. No wonder the Discord was going off. Okay. My bad, guys. So for y'all that just came in, we went over trading plans, what to add to trading plans. And then I'm going to put mines in the Discord, what mines look like, but you want to have at least three components. You want to have your risk management rules, and what you're going to do before you enter a buy, and what you're going to do before you enter a sell. So yeah, sorry y'all. And then we were just going over some questions about marking up. So I think someone wanted me to mark up something else. Is that correct? I think who was that? Yeah, okay. All right, let's see. There's nothing on here. You want to do GBP USD? All righty. Okay, this should be pretty easy. So we have a downtrend, and I'm just gonna mark some highs here. Some equal highs there. Okay. I don't like how this looks here. It does look like chalk, but I don't see a fair value gap. So I don't like that. So I'm gonna go down to the 1 hour and see if there's a fair value gap there. Let's see, so chalk. So it pushed past this fair value gap. So I don't care about this one anymore. Price already tapped into this fair value gap, but it did not invalidate the order block. So price may still push up to this order block. Okay. I'm gonna go down to my 15-minute. There's not much to do yet for me on the 15-minute. 15-minute and 5-minute is my entry. I just kissed the order block. So I would just be waiting to see what price is going to do in London right here. Hopefully we get something like this. Comes up, comes back down, creates a lower high, drops. Something like that. I wanted to give me another change of character, either inside this zone or coming out of it. So this is like a sit on my hand situation, and price action is like it's not ranging or nothing. It's just very like minuscule bars. They're not very voluminous. So it's like just playing around. So I need like an energetic something on this chart right now. But from the looks of it, it's definitely going to come up to this order block. It's just a question of if it's going to reject off of it or push past it. So if it gives me my change of character, I'm in for sells. If it pushed past it, then I'm looking for buys. Let's see. Can you show how to get the templates actually for change of character? I don't think I'm understanding quite exactly. Are you saying like change of character for sell a bearish trend going into a buy, and then a change of character for a bullish run going into a bearish run. I want to make sure I'm understanding that correctly. How do you look for fair value gap? They're on the screen. They're everywhere. They're everywhere. My eyes are just trying to spot them. Like right here. So we have the bottom of this wick here. And then we have the top of this wick here. And there's 3 series of candles. And they don't meet in the middle. So that was a fair value gap. And then as you can see, price tapped into it and went right up from it. So I see them everywhere. It's just like you technically want to look for them when you see a breaker structure change of character. Those are the best places to find them. I'm trying to keep up, guys. I'm sorry. Does it have to touch the order block or only the fair value gap? I would prefer for it to touch the fair value gap, but my stop loss will always encompass both. Because sometimes it's not enough liquidity for it to just grab the fair value gap. Sometimes it wants the order block as well. So if I was entering a trade right here, it would have included the candle below it, past the fair value gap. Those are not the same things, but they are very important for me to come in pairs. So if there's no order block, there's no fair value gap. And if there is a fair value gap and it's a good one, it most likely left a order block beside it. So for me, I always say when I'm looking at change of character or breaker structure, it has to have those 3 characteristics right here. There was a change of character. So it has to break structure. So this one broke the low. It has to have a fair value gap that it left behind from that energetic push down. So we have 3 sell candles, energetic push. It left the fair value gap. So that also makes this an order block. If I don't have those characteristics, I don't care about it. It's not good enough for me. Let's see what else we got. How you just pre-licked. Wait, how you just pre-click that list of options? I'm not sure what that means. I'm sorry, Jay. I'm trying to understand.
like you just did it with the fair value gap, bearish, order block, like all of that. That whole list. Like, how do you make those templates?
Like your
the
change of
squares?
character, your change of character where you have like a preset line that says change of character instead of drawing out the line and typing the text.
I was like, okay, so yes. So anytime I use my tools and I end up marking that like same thing over. So I used to make these little arrows on my chart and I always have to type in change of character. So I just double click on it and it brings up this like settings square. And then like if you type in, this is like the text column. So if you type in change of character, and then I put it in the middle and then in the center, which placed it right there. And then I just like hit save as, and then you just name it whatever you want to name it. Save it, and then every time you plot that arrow and you go to template and hit whatever you saved it as, it'll change it. Like I have breaker structure as well. It'll change it to breaker structure, equal lows. It'll do the same thing. That's how and you do that. You can do that with any like thing you put on your chart that you mark it up with. You just double click on it. You enter what you want it labeled as, the color, the style, everything, and then you save it, whatever you want to save it, and it'll automatically change it to that for you. I hope I answered that correctly. Yes, doing that makes charting extremely quick. Like especially if you're trading like this, guys, you're gonna find if you're looking for change of character, breaker structure all the time, you're always finding order blocks for value gaps. Just go ahead and save these templates, or however you want to save them, and then it'll just make your charting a lot faster. When there is multiple fair value gaps, how do you know which one to use? I will always use the first one that was created. So when this series happened here, there was 2 fair value gaps, I think. Let's see, we had that first one here, and then we had this one. And then we also have a third one, which this was a really good push down. So for me, I want to use like when the push happened, whether it's going up or down, I want to use the very first fair value gap that was created. Same thing with down here. I think there was 1, 2, yeah. So if you want to use the very first one, even though this is a huge one, but it mitigated most of it, came down in most of it. But yeah, the very first one that's created on your push up or down, which they call it the extreme fair value gap. If you happen to have like a lot of them, you'll see something like this sometimes where it just wants to like eat the low hanging fruit, which is this very last one. But as you can see, it always comes to the most extreme one. So it eventually came back. It kind of tapped into the order block as well, but it came back to the most extreme one. Let's see. So you have a change of character before finding a fair value gap. I look for a fair value gap at break of structure or a change of character, both of those. Change of character is just a form of break of structure. It's a break of structure that changes the trend. So I look for my entries around break of structure, and my entries include fair value gaps and order blocks. They have to be there at those areas. I hope I answered y'all questions good. If I didn't, please let me know. I will rephrase or re-clarify. But yes. Any other questions, y'all?
Hey sis, can you do me one favor? Can you just walk me back through your NAS analysis, please?
Yeah, sure. For which one?
This is the one I think you got on the second entry this morning in your session.
Yeah, sure. The one with the second entry that I uploaded into the chat.
Yeah.
That was in Q for futures, but that is also NAS 100 for you guys that are not trading futures. I think this is today's. I don't think I saved. Oops, I think I got rid of it, guys. I'm sorry. Yeah, I did. And I forgot exactly where I placed it. Let me think if I can remember. Oh, you know what? I have a picture of it. Hold on.